Okay, guys. Chapter 1, Section 5B. We're still talking about imaginary numbers. We're going to solve equations with complex numbers. So we're solving equations that are going to have imaginaries. You're going to have i's in them. That's all we're doing today. There's two kinds that we're going to do. We're going to solve using the even root property. You can complete the square, and you can also do the quadratic formula. What will happen in all of these is you should get a negative underneath the square root, which we will pull out and have an I in our answer. All right, that should happen today. So if it doesn't, then we got to go back and check, see what you did wrong. But the three ways that you can solve quadratics is you can use the even root property, which is the first thing we're going to do, completing the square, which we've already done, or the quadratic formula. So if you look at numbers 1 and 2, they're both set up for you to do what's called the even root property. When you have a binomial that is squared, that's set equal to a number, how can I get rid of that squared? What can I do to both sides? I can take the square root. Good. So when you have it set up like that, guys, go ahead and do it. So this becomes x minus 2 equals, what goes in front of my square root? Plus or minus. Good. And how am I going to rewrite negative 20? I'm just going to write negative 1 times 20. I want you guys to remember you have that negative 1. We'll break it down later, but I want you to remember that. So what is the step now I have to take to get x all by itself? We're going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to add 2 and add 2. I like to write it in front, so I have x equals 2 plus or minus square root of negative 1 times 20. Now we have to break down. What can you break down the square root of 20 into? Okay, so look, guys, you have negative 1 times 4 times 5, right? What is the square root of negative 1? I. What's the square root of 4? 2. So your answer is x equals 2 plus or minus, what goes out in front? 2i times the square root of 5. Whenever you have a binomial, 2 terms, that's in a parenthesis, that is squared, it's set up for you to do what's called the even root property. You just take the square root of both sides. So same thing here. What's our first step? Take the square root, okay? So square root here, square root here. So this becomes 3x minus 1 equals what? Plus or minus. And I'm going to write this as negative 1 times 48. I want to remind myself that there's a negative 1 inside there. Yeah.
Why do you put a square root on each side?
Because when you square root this side, it makes the radical go away. That's how you undo it. Whenever it's set up like that. It's the inverse operation. So what are the two things I have to do here, guys, in order to get x all by itself? Add 1 and divide by 3. So watch, we're going to add 1 to both sides. So we have 3x equals 1 plus or minus negative 1 times 48. We'll break that down at the end. Just keep reminding yourself there's a negative 1 underneath there. And then what's the next step I do to get x all by itself? Say it again. Divide by 3. Perfect. Divide by 3. So let's go ahead and simplify here. I have 1 plus or minus. What can I break 48 into? A big perfect square and a non-perfect square. 16 and 3. Good. Always want to try to get the biggest perfect square and the smallest non-perfect square. So again, we're going to simplify. We have 1 plus or minus. What is the square root of negative 1? I. Good. What is the square root of 16? Perfect. And do we know the square root of 3? Nope. It's just going to stay inside. So what is going to come out in front of my radical? 4i. I have the square root of 3 over 3. I'm perfectly fine with your answer written like that on a test or a quiz. Web assign, when you guys go to do it in just a few minutes, is going to ask you to pull it apart. They want 1 over 3 plus 4i square root of 3 over 3 and 1 over 3 minus 4i square root of 3 over 3. There's no plus minus button on web assign, and you can't write everything all together, so they want you to split it up. Probably a good habit for you all to get into so you can see if anything simplifies at all. All right, so that's where we take the square root of both sides. So if I look at something like numbers 3 and 4, these are both set up the exact same way. This is just a quadratic equation. How do you know it's a quadratic? Perfect. Highest exponent is 2. So there's 3 ways that we can attempt to solve this. What's the easiest, most direct way to solve a quadratic? Factoring, right? If it factors, fantastic, I would go with that. But if it doesn't, what are the 2 other methods that we could use? Quadratic or completing the square, all right? At this point, you guys can do what you want. If you want to complete the square, feel free. If you want to do the quadratic, that's fine. Most of you are going to want to do the quadratic unless the b term is even and your a term is positive 1. So in this case, let's go ahead. We'll complete the square on the other one just to show you. But let's go ahead and use the quadratic formula to have everything on one side in standard form set equal to 0. Yep. So what's your a? No, what's in front? There you go. Okay, so what's your b? 1. And what's c? 5. All right, let's remember our quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So now we're going to just take those 3 numbers, 1, 1, and 5, and plug them into our formula. So we have negative 1 plus or minus b squared is going to be 1 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 5, all over 2 times 1. So I have everything input correctly. All right, so let's just simplify again. Negative 1 plus or minus. What's 1 squared? 1, good. What's negative 4 times 1 times 5? Negative 20. All over 2 times 1 is 2. Are you with me? I see you guys doing good. All right, negative 1 plus or minus. What's 1 minus 20? What kind of 19? Negative 19. Is it okay now, guys, to get a negative underneath the radical? A few days ago it wasn't. But now that we have introduced our imaginary numbers, we know how to handle that. I'm going to rewrite it just so I don't forget as negative 1 plus or minus negative 1 times. Can I break 19 into a perfect square and a non-perfect square? No, so just leave it. Over 2. So how would I write my answer? What is the square root of negative 1? I, so that's going to come out in front. So I have negative 1 plus or minus I square root of 19 over 2. Again, that's perfectly fine for me on a test or a quiz, but how does WebAssign want us to write that in? Break it up. How would you write it? Perfect. And then negative 1 over 2 minus I square root of 19 over 2. God bless you. The quadratic formula, as long as most of you on your quiz knew it, which was great, as long as you just take your time and watch your signs, most of us are pretty good at that. That's fine. And obviously, the more we practice, the better we get. So it's good. All right, number 4. Try to factor. It's not going to. So what are my 2 options? Quadratic and completing the square. I'm going to complete the square in this one. If you want to do the quadratic formula, that's fine. See if we get the same answer. But the process of completing the square, guys, I have a positive 1a squared, so we're good to go there. So what do I do with this positive 10? I subtract it and move it to the other side. Great. So I have x squared plus 3x plus my big old square on this side equals negative 10 plus your big old square. Remember, what you do to one side of an equation, you always do to the other. All right, so we're still going to follow the steps of completing the square. I'm going to take my b term and do what with it? Divide it by 2. Perfect. So 3 over 2. Everything I need to know is right there. What does my binomial look like on the left-hand side of my equal sign? What goes in the front? What letter goes in the front? X, good. Plus or minus? Plus. Why is it plus? You're right. Why? Because it's positive. Good. 3 over 2 squared. And then how do I figure out what goes in each of these squares? I have to square 3 over 2. Guys, let's remember our exponent rules. When we square a fraction, where does the exponent go? To where? The numerator and where? The denominator. Good. So this becomes 9 over 4. And what we do to one side of an equation, we do where? To the other. Perfect. Okay, so now we have to add these two numbers together. In order to add fractions, what do we have to have? Same denominator, perfect. So what's my same denominator going to be between 1 and 4? 4, perfect. So if I multiply the bottom of this fraction by 4, what do I do to the top? Multiply it by 4, so this becomes negative 40. Good job. And now we can add, what's negative 40 plus 9? Negative 31, good. Over what number? 4. Awesome. Now we're back to where we were at the very beginning, when we first started. I have a binomial squared equal to a number. What do I do to both sides? Take the square root. Perfect. When I take the square root, this will cancel here. So I have x plus 3 over 2 equals, what goes in front of my square root? Plus or minus. I'm going to rewrite this as negative 1 times 31 underneath. And guys, do you know the square root of 4? Perfect. All right, one more step. I need to get x all by itself. So what do I do? Subtract 3 over 2. Wonderful. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So this ends up with x equals negative 3 over 2 plus or minus what? I. Where'd that I come from, Brady? Good. I square root of 31 over 2. If you use the quadratic formula, you would have gotten the same thing, but not in its simplest form. So when you pulled it apart, it would go ahead, you could go ahead and simplify. But either way, you will get the same answer. If you're more comfortable with the quadratic, that's fine. If you're told how to solve on the test, then that's what you need to do. But if it just says to solve, then do it what you guys do. All right, let's look at these last few, and then I'll let you guys start on your homework. What do you notice is different about number 5? Okay. What else? There's 2 terms. Okay. What else do you notice, though? They're both perfect squares. Okay, good. Do you guys see a b term? Do you see anything that has just x to the first power? No. So again, you could use the quadratic formula if you wanted to. In this case, your a would be 1. What would your b be? 0. Good. Very good. And your c would be what? 25. That's fine. But when you have a case, guys, like this, where you just have what your variable, x squared, no other variables with it or anything, you could just isolate that variable. What would you do to get x squared all by itself? You subtract 25. Perfect. We want to isolate x squared first. Now, once we isolate x squared, how do I get x squared to become just x? You take the square root. Perfect. What you do to one side, you do where? To the other. So x equals, what goes in front of my square root? Plus or minus. Careful with this answer. What's my answer? What's the square root of 25? 5. Is that the correct answer to this problem? No, you're telling me that your answer is positive or negative, real 5. What is the actual answer to this? Plus minus 5, I. Guys, there's a huge, huge, huge difference between a real number and an imaginary one, or complex. You have to make sure, if there is a negative underneath the radical, you have to account for that. Get in the habit of writing -1 times the number underneath. So you remember, oh, wait a second, there's an I here. I have to take it out, and then here's the 5. Yeah.
Can we do that for every perfect square? Like, put the actual number and just put an I.
Look at, let's do 7, and then we'll go over to the other ones. What do you notice about 7? Do you have 2 different x's? Do you have an x squared and an x to the first? No, you just have an x squared. So if you isolate this x squared, we can solve it like we just did. What are the 2 things I'm going to have to do to get x squared all by itself? Subtract the 9. Good. So 25x squared equals -9. And then what? Perfect. Divide by 25. Good. So you're left with x squared equals -9 over 25. Some of you can look at this and go, already know what the answer is. We're going to go through all the way, though. How do you get x squared to become just x? Take the square root. They're inverses of each other. So I have x equals, what goes in front of my square root? Plus or minus. Good. Guys, what is the square root of -9? Okay, what's the square root of 25? 5. The way I would like you to write this is the I in front, 3 over 5. Some of you are going to want to write it 3I over 5. Some of you are going to want to write 3 over 5 with the I at the back. Can I write it like this? Why is option 1 ABC? Why is D not okay? I in the bottom, I in the denominator. That's against the law. Cannot have that. I personally like the I's in front just so I can see. But however you want to write it is okay. Just do not have an I in the denominator. All right, last two and then we're done. Let's complete the square on this one. Why do I want to complete the square on this one? Because you have a positive 1a squared, and then your b term is even. So we're going to take my 9 and move it on over here. When I move positive 9 from one side to the other side of the equal sign, what does it become? Positive 9 to the other side becomes negative. Good. All right, so let's complete the square real quick. I take my b term and I divide it by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, yes? So what does my binomial over here on the left say? X plus 1 squared. Perfect. Now I'm going to square this number. What is 1 squared? 1, so I'm going to add 1 on both sides. So what is negative 9 plus 1? Negative 8. And then how do I continue solving this? How do I get my squared to go away? Take the square root of both sides. Good. So I have x plus 1 equals what goes in front of my square root. Plus or minus. Good. So I have negative 1 times 8. So I know, oh, I'm going to have an I in there. How do I get x all by itself? Subtract 1. So we have x equals negative 1 plus or minus. Guys, what can you break 8 into? 4 and 2. All right, so when I take out square root of negative 1, I have an I. Square root of 4 is 2, so I have 2i square root of 2. You'll get the same answer with the quadratic formula. You'll just have to simplify a little bit at the end. And then my last one. What do you think I do first here, guys? We can't. Well, not yet. Can't take the square root until it's all by itself. But you guys cannot distribute this 3 over a plus or minus sign. Same how we can't distribute over an exponent over a plus or minus. So what do you think I should do to get this binomial all by itself? You want to do what? Divide by 3. Perfect. We're going to divide both sides by 3. So we have x minus 1 squared equals negative 16 over 3. Now that my binomial is by itself, what can I do to both sides? Take the square root. So x minus 1 equals what goes in front of my square root, plus or minus. What is the square root of negative 16? 4i. Do I know the square root of 3? No. This is going to be one of those annoying ones. What's the problem here, guys? There's a square root on the bottom. How do we fix that? How do we fix that? Come on, we got it. Multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. So this becomes x minus 1 equals plus or minus 4i square root of 3 over 3. And then what's my last step? I'm going to add the 1. So you guys end up with x equals 1 plus or minus 4i square root of 3 over 3. That's probably the hardest problem here, and it's because you have to rationalize the denominator. So that is everything that you need to know from 1.5. So now, guys, you have plenty of time to go ahead and get the rest of 1.5 done. I know a lot of you have already done more than half of it, which is great. So now just do the last few solving ones, and then you can turn it in.